So you're looking for a new gaming mic and you can't decide which one to get? In this video, I'm going to help you decide by checking out 3 of the latest microphones from Maono: the DM30 Gamer Wave, the DM30 RGB, and the PD200X. Let's find out which one can satisfy your gaming microphone needs. Before we compare them side by side, let me first give you a brief overview of each Maono microphone. Let's start with the PD200X. This microphone is an XLR USB-C microphone. XLR microphones are good for podcasting, recording, and live streaming. Since this is an XLR microphone, you can connect it to multiple audio devices specifically for recording. Now, if you don't have such devices and you only have your computer to record, you can utilize its USB connection. Aside from the aforementioned features, the PD200X is a dynamic microphone. For those who don't know, dynamic mics are commonly used in live or loud recordings. I guess these are the reasons why it's good for live streaming. On to the next microphone, the DM30 RGB. Unlike the PD200X, the DM30 RGB is a USB condenser microphone. Condenser mics are generally used in studio recordings. Also, they are more affordable than its dynamic counterpart. Different from the PD200X, the DM30 RGB only has a USB connection. Aside from that, it has monitoring feature, which we'll discuss later. And now for our last microphone. The Maono DM30 Gamer Wave is a USB condenser microphone like the DM30 RGB. It has a physical pop filter attached to its shock mount, and it has real-time monitoring too. It also has a toggleable noise cancellation, which you can access by pressing and holding the mute button. If you'd like to know more about this microphone, click the link above for a detailed review. Now that we have discussed briefly the microphones, let's now tackle their respective prices. As we all know, Maono produces budget-friendly quality gaming microphones. If we check the prices, the DM30 has the lowest among the 3 microphones. It's currently priced at 1899 pesos, while the DM30 RGB comes next at 2,790 pesos. And lastly, the Maono PD200X is priced at 4,490 pesos. For me, the price of each microphone is just right, and I think they're affordable. How about the polar pattern of each microphone? Are they all the same? Yes, all of the 3 microphones have cardioid polar pattern. For those who don't know, cardioid mics pick up most of the sound in front rather than the sides and the back. If you have been watching our microphone reviews, I have mentioned before that real-time monitoring for me is really important. It allows us to check if the current setting of our microphones is good or not. In my opinion, this feature is really significant if you're recording voiceovers or doing live streaming. The monitoring feature allows us to properly tune our microphones before jumping in. In our test, so far, there are no delays when using the set feature of all 3 microphones. All of them register the audio input in real time. If we put all the 3 microphones side by side, we'll notice that only the DM30 RGB has no shock mount. To me, this is fine, but for some who don't have a boom arm, it might be a problem because without the shock mount, it will be sensitive to vibrations near it. So my suggestion is, if you're planning to get the DM30 RGB, make sure you get a boom arm. Since we're looking for the best gaming mic among the 3 microphones we have here, let's not forget about the RGB lighting. Most gamers will prepare microphones with RGB to fit their setup. Good thing all 3 microphones have a dedicated RGB lighting button, which we can use to toggle different lighting modes. One good thing about these microphones is that they have downloadable softwares from Maono's website. Inside the software, you can fine-tune the microphone. To be honest, this is really good because it allows us to customize the output of the microphones depending on our preferences. However, the aforementioned software is only available for PD200X and DM30 RGB. They don't support DM30 Gamer Wave as of the moment. Hopefully, they will support DM20 soon. In terms of the mute button, all 3 microphones have their own buttons. The DM20's mute button is placed on top while the PD200X is in the middle. The mute button of the DM20 also serves as the noise cancellation button, just like what I mentioned earlier. Meanwhile, the DM30's mute button is in the middle, which also serves as the gain knob. To mute the DM30, just press the gain knob and you'll see the microphone indicator turn red. For me, the PD200X has a better implementation of the mute button because it's dedicated. Also, it's not confusing when you want to toggle the mute functionality of the PD200X. Now let's compare the performance of each microphones in different scenarios. This is the sound of the PD200X in a quiet environment. Test 1 2 3, test 1 2 3. This is the sound of the DM30 in a quiet environment. Test 1 2 3, test 1 2 3. This is the sound of the DM20 when you're in a quiet environment. Test 1 2 3, test 1 2 3. So this is the sound of the PD200X when an electric fan is beside or near you. The fan is just in front of me, and there's an aircon turned on my right side as well. So yeah, this is the sound of the PD200X when there's a fan near you. Test 1 2 3, test 1 2 3. So this is the sound of the DM30 in an environment where the electric fan is near or beside you. Just like what we did earlier, the fan is just in front of me, and there's an aircon turned on as well on my right side. So yeah, this is the sound of the DM30 when there's a fan near you. Test 1 2 3, test 1 2 3. So this is the sound of the DM20 when you're in a loud or noisy environment. A fan is beside me right now. Actually, it's in front of me, and there's an aircon turned on my right side as well. So again, this is the sound of the DM20 when you're in a loud or noisy environment. Test 1 2 3, test 1 2 3. To me, these three microphones are all good. They perform well in our test, and I did not encounter any issues. They have monitoring features which I like the most. They also have RGB lighting that most gamers would like. Another good thing is that you can mute the microphone on the fly, which is really important, especially if you're always attending online meetings and you do live streaming. So productivity and gaming wise, I think these three microphones are really good. My only concern is that DM30 RGB doesn't have shock mount, unlike the other two. Aside from that, the DM30 Gamer Wave has a pop filter, and the PD200X has an air filter attached to it already. But as you have seen and heard earlier in our testing, the DM30 performed well. Now if you're going to ask me which is the best among the three Maono microphones for gaming, I'll choose the PD200X. I like the design and the output of the microphone. I think it's good for gaming and for podcasting as well. Also, you can use the PD200X in different recording or audio devices that utilize XLR connection. Although it has a higher price compared to the other two, I think it's worth it. My only concern about the PD200X is that you need to buy it with a boom arm. There is no mic stand included in the package, unlike the DM20 and DM30 RGB. But yeah, that's PD200X for me. Huge thanks to Maono for trusting us and sending these microphones in. And that's it guys, we have reached the end part now. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Till our next, goodbye.